Does Bethesda care about the modding community? I wanted to make this video to talk about some of the issues I do have with Bethesda and their standpoint with modding. To be clear, I mean this as not a financial perspective from all the other perspectives. Obviously, Bethesda cares about modding from the finance side of things. I think it makes their games sell a lot more, and I also think it's evident by the release of Skyrim Special Edition that Bethesda recognizes modding is an important part of how many copies their games sell and how much money they can make. But what about outside of that? Does Bethesda really care about the mod author and the mod consumer? Because I can think of a lot of things that make it seem like they don't care all that much, or they're just not connected with the community the way I hope they would be. The main issue that comes to mind are Xbox One mods. Console modding is a huge feat in its own right. They really are proving new grounds. I think it's something we're going to only see more of in the future, and we can assume it's largely done due to the financial incentives of it. Outside of that, what indicators do we have that Bethesda really cares about Xbox One users? PS4 modding I'm not going to talk too much about because it's just not in nearly the same state that Xbox One modding is. One of the glaring issues facing many Xbox One users is the restriction with downloading mods. Since release, you guys have had 2 gigabytes to download different mods. As more and more mods come out and your load order does grow, this becomes harder and harder to maintain. I've gotten so many comments on so many different videos about how this is a huge issue for so many people, and yet what has Bethesda done to counteract this or to address this issue? Well, the only change we've had to the mod file size limit is actually a further restriction. Now you may download only 150 mods on Xbox One, this is for Fallout 4 and for Skyrim, then only 100 on PS4. This is reduced from the previous limit of 244 mods, which is the limit on PC, because that's an engine restriction. There's nothing Bethesda could really do about that without rewriting a large part of their engine. That's a step in the wrong direction, not in the right direction. I also think an important aspect of the problem here is Bethesda's lack of communication. We saw this with Xbox One mods and with PS4 mods. Leading up to the release of both of those things, we were left in the dark. They were both delayed multiple times, especially PS4 mods, and we really didn't know what was going on the internal side of things. Similarly, with this change to the mod limit, we only found out through Bethesda support's Twitter. There was no big announcement despite it being a pretty big change, and I actually got a lot of messages following the change with people trying to figure out what the hell was going on and why they weren't able to download any more mods. Very recently, Bethesda actually released some new free content for Fallout 4, that being a PC texture pack. With the same announcement, they did also reveal that they would be having a special edition of Fallout 4 for PS4 Pro users that would be a higher resolution and have some increased lighting effects. Xbox users didn't really get anything out of the mix. The PC texture pack is awesome. It's free content that is quite cool. There really isn't a huge amount of monetary incentive for doing that, and honestly, I did praise them at the time for it, despite the texture pack itself being kind of lackluster and having many issues in its own right. But on the other side of things, the PS4 Pro version having some enhanced features is kind of a sketchy thing to do. Bethesda did confirm that in order to get that PS4 Pro version, you're going to have to rebuy Fallout 4 for $60 on the PS4 Pro. So at least from where I'm sitting, it seems like they're giving the game a minor update, so a lot of people will buy the newer, better version for the new console and make more money off the old game now. $60 for a 2-year-old game with limited modding capabilities is a little bit ridiculous. Again, the only real changes are it's going to be 1440p as well as have some new lighting effects. I really don't think that's justifiable for the additional cost, especially for people that did already buy it on PS4. And even beyond all of that, the recent update to Bethesda.net removed a ton of different features. Bethesda.net as a whole is really just not that good of a website. Nexus Mods is one of the premier places to get Fallout 4 mods on PC. It really is the one-stop shop. It's a great website. It's a great model to build off of. They really just have to copy that and apply it to Bethesda.net, or at least copy some of the fundamental aspects, and it would work functionally as a pretty good website. Yet we got a pretty haphazardly done site on release. Then we got an update that removed a ton of features, although giving it a bit of a facelift. And since then, we've had a few new features added, like featured mods and being able to sort through some of the different mods in different ways, but also some updates that make it harder to sort through different mods. I used to find new content by going through the new section or just the latest editions on Bethesda.net. Well, now any mod that gets an update, any change, you could change the description of your mod and it'll appear there. Previously, it was newly uploaded mods. There's no way to sort through this, and honestly, if you're just a regular user trying to find some cool new mods that maybe aren't super popular, that's extremely difficult to do on Bethesda.net. And I know because I do this almost every day when trying to find new content for some of my different videos. It's a nightmare and extremely frustrating, and especially some other features getting removed, like the comments section getting totally wiped, not having mod profiles for different mod authors anymore. This whole update seemed like a big step backwards for the website. And then to wrap things up, I think the biggest slap in the face to many mod authors, although I feel like a lot of people won't agree with me on this one, was the release of Skyrim Special Edition. This was a game with some minor improvements ported over to Xbox One and PS4. The main selling point of this this being that it does have mods. You're going to pay $60 to get some minor visual improvements as well as mods, which obviously is driven by the modding community. Bethesda undoubtedly made millions of dollars off of this game. The mod authors saw none of that. They didn't get any support. They didn't really get much of anything from Bethesda. There was a closed beta where they invited some mod authors in, but really again, I see that as personal gain, as they just wanted mods to be available on the release of their brand new game. I know this video probably came off as pretty ranty, but I just feel like these are a number of different things that I've been viewing in the community and really from the company, and I just think they're kind of bullshit. I think a lot of Fallout 4 and Skyrim's success is due to the modding community, and Bethesda is not addressing that accordingly. It seems like they're doing a lot of things to monetize this community further, but not doing too many things to help bolster the success of mod authors or expand their capabilities. The creation kit, the tool used to make mods for Fallout 4 as well as Skyrim, is not a very good tool. It has a ton of bugs, has a ton of issues, it has crashing problems. I refrain from talking about it too much because I'm only getting the secondhand from talking to different mod authors. I don't obviously make mods myself, but even something as simple as refining and updating that tool to make it a little bit more stable would probably go a long way. Many people are dumping hundreds of hours into this to sell more copies of a game that only one person is profiting off of, and that's Bethesda. I think there's a lot of room for improvement, whether it be through communication, whether it be through updates to the creation kit, or even just reaching out and supporting their mod authors a little bit more. As always, I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, hopefully I didn't come off as too ranty. Bethesda has undoubtedly done a lot of good for the community. It just seems like right now there's a lot of bad also. Like even little things like Fallout 4 VR costing a full $60. It's going to be almost 3 years old at that point, and it's going to still cost retail. Regardless, again, I thank you for watching. I do hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you guys all next time. Later.